Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and for today's video I have one of my biggest book hauls ever. I don't know if it's my biggest necessarily, but it's definitely up there. I have 17 books to haul for you today, and they're all actually in order of how I bought them. One of them's from a giveaway, some of them were gifts from friends or family, and most of them I purchased myself because for the past few months I have been pretty good about not buying tons of books. And in the month of December I finished my semester of college, which was all online, and I feel like most people found it to be pretty challenging. I didn't necessarily find it to be challenging, I just pushed myself a lot more in school this semester, and so as a reward for getting a 3.9 GPA, I went a little crazy, and then I also bought myself some books for my birthday and bought myself some books for Christmas. So, all that being said, let's dive in because I'm sure this is going to be a lengthy video. I'm going to be doing my best with synopses, but I always link the books in the description anyway if you're interested in checking them out. I just have a Goodreads link and you can add it to your want to read list if you're interested. The first one, like I said, I won in a giveaway from Sophie. Her bookstagram is Fables and Bonds, and she has a YouTube channel with her friend Jessie Levine. Lit is their bookstagram, and together their booktube channel is Palace of Pages, but Sophie individually on her Instagram was doing a giveaway and I entered it and I won, and I never win anything, so this was super exciting for me. And the book that I picked, because she said you could just pick a book from your wish list, was Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I've been hearing so many amazing things about this book that I absolutely knew right away that this was what I wanted to get. This is about this girl whose sister dies and she enters hell basically in order to find her, and along the way she is accompanied by one of the 7 princes of hell named Wrath. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. It takes place in Italy, which sounds wonderful, and I'm pretty sure it's like a hate to love romance and so many other things ensue. Like I said, only heard amazing things about this, and I've never read a book set in Italy, and I am not one who typically likes like travel stories or books set in a world, or not in a world, but in a place where that person's not familiar with it, which is why I've never read a book set in Italy, but I'm super duper excited to read this one. Yes, cannot wait. And thank you again to Sophie for sending me this. I highly appreciate it. You are just the sweetest person ever, and if you haven't checked out their YouTube channel, you definitely should. I love their videos as well. The next one is one that I splurged on and I cannot wait to read. I'm actually reading this with Max from Throne of Pages on Bookstagram, who has an amazing feed and he is just an amazing person. So we're gonna buddy read this in the very near future and I'm so freaking pumped, and that is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. We've both heard such amazing things about this and I knew I needed to get it, and I kind of wanted the hardcover, so I definitely splurged here, and I hope that I love this. Otherwise, I spent a lot of money on the book that I'm not gonna like. But apparently this is about a girl named Poppy who is what they call a maiden in this world, and you have to protect the maiden at all costs, and so she doesn't have tons of freedom because she's so like sheltered. And then she meets this guy named Hawk, and I don't know anything more than that other than this is a fantasy romance and it sounds so good. I have more recently heard some mixed reviews, but primarily I've only heard good things, and for someone who really likes romance, especially in fantasies, I feel like I'm going to love this. The second book is already out and the third book is coming out early next year, so hopefully I can just marathon them. Next, I got one of my most anticipated releases, and my mom actually just picked this up for me randomly, which was super sweet of her and I'm so thankful, and that is A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. This is the conclusion to the An Ember in the Ashes series. I have not finished A Reaper at the Gates yet. That's one of my goals for this month. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to do it, but I do desperately want to finish this series. So many people have been crying at the ending, and Sabaa even said that she cried while she was writing the ending, and the ending hurt her too, which makes me nervous because she's the author. So, but I do trust her. She writes such wonderful like books. I've loved the first two in the series so far, so I do trust her, but I am a little nervous because apparently it's gonna break my heart, and I don't know if I'm ready for it yet, which is why I haven't finished the third book. Now we're getting into me spoiling myself for my birthday, and I definitely spoiled myself, but I'm not mad about it. So the first one is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This has so many content warnings, so if you're going to pick this up, definitely look into them. I am currently 154 pages in, and I'm not enjoying it because enjoying is the wrong word. This is not a book that you enjoy, but it is very well written, and I do think it is an important book. This kind of sheds some light on the Me Too movement from the perspective of a girl who was involved with her teacher in a romantic relationship that obviously is not consensual. And we follow two timelines, so it takes place in 2000 when this relationship is going on, and we see firsthand everything that happens. And then we follow her in 2017, where the Me Too movement is very prominent and people are coming out about this same teacher, similar things having happened to them, and Vanessa doesn't really think that there's anything wrong with what happened at the beginning of the book, it seems like, but she also just seems very confused, both while it's happening and 17 years later. And so I have a feeling that this is going to be a story of her coming to terms with the fact that, you know, something bad did happen to her and she was not responsible, cannot be held responsible for that, nor should she be. And that, you know, things can happen to protect her and other young people from similar things happening to them. And it's really hard to read. Like, some of the things that the professor in here does are just, all of the things he does are absolutely disgusting. And it is really hard to read at times, but it's definitely important, and if you can, I highly recommend you read it. On a lighter note, we have an adult fantasy that, again, I've heard nothing but amazing things about, and that is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. This is the first book in the Burning series. I believe it came out either late last year or early this year, and the second book is already out. I've heard that this is an adult fantasy that people just absolutely fly through, and I just feel like this is going to be one that I love. Apparently there are dragons in it, obviously. There's a dragon there, and it's in the title. I don't really know much about this, but like I said, only heard amazing things, and this is his debut, so super excited, and I want a good fantasy series that I can just fly through and dive into, but that isn't young adult. I'm just not in the mood for young adult at this current moment. So this was kind of like a random purchase for me, but I'm super excited to read it. If I don't read it this month, I'm definitely going to pick it up in January or early next year, depending on how my reading's going in January. Then I have another book that I've only heard amazing things about, and that is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a fantasy, like, gang retelling of Romeo and Juliet set in 1920s Shanghai. That's all I need to know about it. I've seen a bunch of fan art for it, and that is also all I need to see. This just sounds so freaking incredible. Like I said, don't know much more about it, but I'm super excited to read this one because Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy, and if I get attached to these characters, then this book is going to break my heart. Because we all know how Romeo and Juliet ends. Then I picked up a graphic novel that I've been wanting to read for literal years, and so on my birthday, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get it. I've been wanting this book for ages. I'm allowed to buy it now. And that is Moonstruck Volume 1, Magic to Brew. This is such a cute graphic novel and so diverse. I love it. This takes place in a college town where magical creatures and humans live in harmony, and we're following this small group of characters that get involved in a little bit of trouble, And that's like really all you need to know. The art style is super cute and like pastel, and I'm obsessed with it. Like I said, it's super diverse, and there are a bunch of different elements in here. So there's like a little newspaper section. There are snippets of a book that a character in this graphic novel is writing or reading. And yeah, I love it, and I'm so glad that I finally picked it up. I have been wanting to read more graphic novels and explore more graphic novels that aren't saga or monstrous, which I feel like get the most hype on BookTube specifically. So yes, highly recommend. And when I do a part 3 to my sweet and wholesome graphic novel recommendations, because that is coming, this is definitely going on that list. Then from my dear friend Shelby over at Grace with Books, who, if you don't follow her already, you absolutely should. She just hit 2,000, which is so incredible, but she deserves so much more than that, so go watch her videos. But for the holiday season, she sent me a book and a bunch of candy and like bookmarks and stuff, which I so appreciated, and I ended up getting it on my birthday, which was super special. And then we got to FaceTime for a little bit, and I just loved every second of it. And she sent me With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Earlier this year, I read The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I adored it. It was such an amazing contemporary. It's written in verse about this girl named Ziomara, and it talks about the struggles that she has as a young woman, especially as a young Dominican woman living in America. And there were parts that I related to so much in that book. Obviously, I couldn't relate to everything. Ever since I read that one, I've been wanting to read this one. And honestly, even before I read that one, I also wanted to read this one, because this one follows Imani, who wants to be a chef, but she has a daughter, and so she's trying to figure out how to go to culinary school and also be a good mom. And it sounds amazing. Also, apparently, the descriptions for food in this are incredible, and so I'm really excited to read this one. And thank you to Shelby so much for sending it to me. I love you. You're the sweetest, and I cannot wait to read this. Then, after I read Moonstruck, I went back to the bookstore and had to get Moonstruck Volume 2, Some Enchanted Evening. Same thing, it's just another adventure, and I loved it. It was super cute, and I can't wait to pick up the third one. And while I was there, I decided to pick up another graphic novel because, like I said, I've been wanting to branch out, and I've seen this one a couple of times, but haven't picked it up, even though it is one that I'm super intrigued in. And that is Sea of Stars by Jason Aaron, Dennis Hallam, Stephen Green, and Rico Renzi. This is volume 1, and it came out early this year, so volume 2 is not even out yet. But basically, one of the reviews said this is Finding Nemo set in space, and it doesn't have the best reviews, but I'm super intrigued by the art style. It kind of gives me like Saga vibes, and I love Saga so much, and since this is set in space across a few different planets, it sounds like it's going to be reminiscent of Saga in that way. And I love that element of Saga, so I wanted to try this. Even if it doesn't have the best reviews, it sounds really good. So super excited, and I'll let you know what I think. Yeah. Then my mom and sister surprised me with one of the most beautiful books that I own now. And it's one that I've been wanting to read for a little bit now, and that is Dune by Frank Herbert. But this is the deluxe edition. So it has beautiful teal sprayed edges and a stunning cover. And then the end papers are just immaculate, beautiful. And then you take the cover off, and it says fear is the mind killer. It's like embossed. And underneath the dust jacket is this beautiful art. This edition is just absolutely beautiful. And this is one of like, it's like a sci-fi classic. And so I'm so excited to read this. I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, I need to do more research on it, but I heard that Dune was like a loose inspiration for Star Wars, and it just sounds really good. I've been wanting to get more into sci-fi, and this is a classic, and there's a series for it. I need to continue on with the Ender game series, saga, whatever it's called, Ender Saga, I think. But I'm obsessed with this. It's absolutely beautiful. I've had my eye on it for a while, but I didn't want to pull the trigger. So thank you to my mom and my sister for giving this to me. It's beautiful. I'm obsessed with it, and I cannot wait to read it. It's a big book too, so I don't know when I'm gonna get to it, but the next book that I have is one that one of my best friends in the entire world gave to me, and she has an art page, which I'll have linked down below. She's seriously so good at what she does. So much of my art on my bookshelves and in my room is from her, but she gave me After the Rain by Alexandra L. This is kind of just like a self-help book, and she is one of the people who has been with me from the very beginning, not of my mental health journey, because that literally started at like age 9 or something like that, and I've moved around a lot, but she's been with me since my mental health really got bad and took a turn for the worst. For the worse or worst? I don't know. Either way. It took a turn and it wasn't good. But she's also been with me through recovery and seeing me get better, and she is one of the people that reminds me on a daily basis that I am doing a good job and I am recovering, and it is a process, but she's so proud of me, and her support means the world, and this gift means the world, because like I said, it's a self-help book, and there are just little reminders that sometimes things are hard, but they don't have to stay that way. So this book means so much to me, and it's not one that I plan to like sit down and read, but when I am struggling, I'm definitely gonna flip through and read some of the passages, and this meant so much to me. So then if you saw my first video back, which was a bookstore vlog, then you would have seen the next 5 books already, but I'll just quickly talk about them. So we have Waiting for Spring Volume 13. If you have been following my channel for the past couple of years, then you know that I started reading manga, and this was the first manga series that I read and really enjoy. I have read the previous 12 volumes, and so I am on this volume. I've been waiting for it to come out for a while, so I'm super excited when I saw this one. Then I picked up Love Me Not by Io Sakisaka. I have not read this, obviously this is volume 1, but I did read volume 1 of How Ride by this author and really enjoyed the art style and the story, and I looked for volume 2 but I couldn't find it, so I went with this one. It sounds super cute. It's about these 2 girls who are best friends, and then their little duo is kind of joined by this other duo of guys, and I have a feeling it's going to be a romance, so really excited to read this one as well. Like I said, love the art style, and I have a feeling I'm going to love the story. Then I picked up a couple of middle grades because I've been wanting to get more into middle grade, and one of them is super nostalgic for me, so I'm really excited to reread it. But the first one is Artemis Fowl by Owen Colfer. I know this was really big when I was growing up, but I never got around to this, but apparently this deals with fairies and this kid who is super duper smart, and he's thinking that he can trick the fairies, but they're a step ahead of him. This is a pretty lengthy series, so I'm excited to read it, but like I said, it's middle grade and was super popular and is still very well loved, so I'm excited to read this one. Then we have one of my favorite series from when I was growing up, and that is Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. This is a fantasy series that is honestly one of the best series I've ever read, and I want to reread it because I don't know that I ever finished the series. I think I came close, but I don't know that I got to the end, and I've forgotten everything. So I started reading this in like 4th grade and was absolutely freaking obsessed, so I cannot wait to read this. It's gonna be so much nostalgia. Honestly, might do a reading vlog for this because they're just the best books like ever. And then the last book that we have in this book haul is one of the only young adult books in this entire haul, and that is The Other Side of the Sky by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. All I know is what's on the back, and that says, "A living goddess searches the skies desperate for hope. A crown prince falls to the earth looking for answers, both destined to save their worlds or destroy them completely." The title and the cover just really intrigued me, and so I'm super excited to read this one. I haven't been in the biggest YA mood lately, but I have a feeling that this is going to be one that I really love and I pick up in the very near future. So those are the 17 books that I have to haul for you. It was a lot, and I have more books in my Amazon cart, so there might be another one coming soon, but I might just do that throughout reading vlogs and stuff. I hope that you all had a great holiday season, whatever you celebrate. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy as much as you can. I hope you're doing well, reading, mentally, and otherwise. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope to see you in my next one. Bye, guys. I love running out of storage right before I take the thumbnail. That's my favorite thing to do.